Hello. So I'm here with Daren. Daren is a former client of mine, and he's agreed to sort of have a chat with us and discuss how he got on. So, Daren, do you want to introduce yourself to anyone watching?
Yeah, I'm Daren Wallis, and I met Chris through a LinkedIn advert, probably about 5 months ago now, I'd say, maybe longer than that, 6 months ago, which piqued my interest. It explained exactly where I was as a person, both in sort of health-wise and business-wise. So I clicked on the button in his LinkedIn ad, and here we are, 6, 7 months later.
So, what were things like back then? So, what sort of position were you in? What was going on?
I was a bit of a slump, to be honest. My work-life balance had flipped completely the wrong way, really. So I didn't have time for myself. I was neglecting myself, um, not sleeping particularly well. It was a long-term thing. Seemed quite frustrated a lot of the time, a lot of self-pity, which we worked on an awful lot, and really realizing I wasn't spending much time on me at all. I was just working and traveling for work quite a lot. Bit of a rut that had become a sort of 6 month, 12 month, 18 month, 2 year period. And every day I was going to do something about it, but never quite did. Um, and my weight ballooned and my energy was dropping. And I'd come from being quite an active person 3 or 4 years before. So I certainly needed to have some sort of change, some intervention, which is what I did.
What's your professional position? Like, what is it you do?
Yeah, I'm managing director of a instrumentation company based in Yorkshire, and also managing director of a subcontractor insurance company. So I've got a business or two businesses, employ about 100 people, and that's more than full time when I let it. And I tend to fall back, a bit of a workaholic, I guess, as many people are. But I didn't realize how much I'd swung that way. Um,
Mm.
I think at one point when I was speaking to you, Chris, I not had a day off from the business for something like 3 months that year. Just worked every day, sometimes only a couple of hours, but constantly working, at the basically at the detriment of my health and well-being, really.
Did that impact people around you, or was it just you?
I'm sure it did. I'm sure I was an absolutely awful person to be around, but I became quite reclusive. It kind of used to get exasperated if I got asked to go out for dinner, for example, because I was out with business maybe twice a week. I didn't want to eat out again, so I kind of stopped accepting invites to things from friends and just gradually kind of withdrew and didn't realize it, for quite some time. And I ended up going for a health check as a bit of a first step, who told me I was probably out exercising a very poor diet, which was a bit of an eye opener at the age of 53, at the time. So yeah, so it was affecting my personal life, which has improved massively since this point as well. And now I'm now happy to say yes to things.
So, what was it? Was there, in terms of the post or in terms of the process when we spoke and we had a chat, was there anything that sort of stood out to you that you thought, actually, this is different. This could be what I need.
Yes, you gave me nowhere to hide is the biggest thing. That was the biggest thing, I think. Um, you may recall there was some conversation we had at the start where I was just absolutely exasperated with myself. There's no way out of this, full of self-pity. And you basically verbally gave me a polite battering, in a very professional way, and also gave me alternative views on things. So you may recall a conversation about having to get to the train station to go away with work again, and you suggested, why don't you walk half the way to the train station, park somewhere else? Just those little techniques that I just had a blind spot to.
Hmm.
Um, and as you recognised, I had a tendency to sort of plan my week, and if by Monday something had happened that I didn't want to happen, such as another meal or something, I just that week's wasted. Whereas you said, look, that's done, you can't change that. What's the next thing? So for me, it was a massive mindset change, massive mindset change.
Yeah, I can remember, and I know I've described it when we've spoke that thinking back, it was almost like the color was all washed out, and it was
Yeah,
very much a
mm,
sort of very low conversation, wasn't it, in terms of just
absolutely.
coming across.
Mm, mm,
What's
absolutely.
how do you feel now then? So what's changed? Like, what's life like now? How do you feel?
Pretty fantastic. Even though my business is busier than it has been, and there's some challenges in my personal life, sort of at home. Very, very good. The tendency to, as you say, see the negative all the time is gone, thanks to your help and techniques. I've got a lot of routines and habits now that are sensible, that suit me. So, for example, this week I intended to cycle to work twice this week. I did it once because it was raining one day. I don't beat myself about it. I went for a walk instead. So I replaced something else, which wasn't as energetic, but that's enough. Tick, I've done something this week. And yeah, just those habits, which have become habitual. And there are lots and lots of little tweaks rather than one massive change, really, which is something you don't really notice it happening, which is the best way. So it's not it's not been a diet, it's not been a exercise blitz, it's just been a habitual shift of direction. I think it's a slight shift of direction, which has worked out really well. I'm much more buoyant, much more positive. I feel better, sleeping better. Just everything just seems to be better.
Awesome. And it's not like you've not missed out, have you? You've had plenty of sort of meals out and occasions
Absolutely.
out, haven't you?
Yeah, I've eaten out twice this week, but to make better choices. Yeah, and savor the meal for what it is rather than, oh heck, I've eaten out again. That's not good.
Well,
Yeah.
my phone's listening to us. Google's just woken up.
All right.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, for me, I think that's the main thing here is with what you had. Obviously, you came here with a sort of very difficult sort of situation, routine wise, in terms
Yeah.
of how you felt, in terms of like you felt like there were so many barriers and nothing, there was no way to overcome it.
Mm.
Yet you've sort of moved forward week on week. You've shown up, you've been open, honest,
Mm.
and ultimately you're still doing things you were doing before, but you've just balanced them out and it's just better now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely is. Yeah. And the group sessions as well. Um, I'm fairly competitive, and I think quite a few people on the group sessions are also quite competitive. And I think that also helps. You've got that kind of, oh, they've tried something, it's given them great results. I want to try that too. So that really, really helped. Yeah. And also getting towards the end of the journey, I stayed on for a few more months as well. Sort of seeing people at the start of their journey, you felt like you could give something back, which is quite handy. I quite enjoyed that. That kind of reinforced the things that you picked up along the way. So it was very useful as well.
Awesome. What's the future look like then? Like, is this going to stick now, do you think? Are you finished? Is there more to do?
No, I'm absolutely going to continue. I still want to. It's not about weight, particularly. It's about resilience and well-being. But I still need to get a little bit fitter, get a little bit more off around my waist. But I'll do that gradually. It won't be a kind of right. I'll stop eating for 3 weeks and that'll be it. As you know, I mountain bike in my spare time, and I'm feeling better doing that because I've got less bulk to carry and I've got stronger legs, and it's just more enjoyable.
Mm.
I no longer feel like I'm hanging on for for life or death on my mountain bike now. I'm kind of enjoying it more. And things like classing going for a walk as exercise. That's a big shift for me because it's so good for my kind of mental health. It's me clear my brain. I'm getting a bit flustered and getting down one of those rabbit holes. Go for a walk with the podcast on, put the music on, and it really, really helps. So yeah, so these lifestyle changes are lifestyle changes. They're not kind of fad things to do to have a blitz in whatever it might be, fitness or weight or lack of sleep. It's just a general. I generally feel better. People come to me. I seem to be much calmer and brighter in my demeanour.
So I suppose that means the people around you have been impacted by this then, haven't they, in a
Yeah,
positive way?
yeah, absolutely. Mm, mm.
Awesome. If there's anyone watching this, then anyone that's sort of on the fence, what would you say to them about sort of coming to have a chat with me if they're considering doing some work?
Get off the fence, basically. A chat's free, chat costs nothing, and for me, it was very, very worthwhile. And I at the start was quite cynical, as you remember. And I remember parting with my fees, thinking, "Oh, I've just given somebody I've never met some money on the internet. I've been scammed." But the process kicked in straight away, very professionally, very supportive, and immediately, also within the hour, sort of things started happening. Um, Very, very good. So yeah, for me, it was fantastic. Um, there would have been no way I'd have got out of the funk I was in 6, 7 months ago if I hadn't met you and done this program. No way at all. I'd still be here wallowing in self-pity about things and not feeling I could control anything or change anything. So absolutely massive for me. I'd recommend it. Absolutely recommend it.
Well, thank you very much. That's and in terms of like, was it what you expected? Was it different?
Good question. I don't know what I expected, really. I think I was a bit cynical. And I think if you and your system hadn't kicked in the way it did very professionally, I may have been cynical and just gone, "Ooh, don't think I'll do it." But absolutely no. I had no preconceived ideas at all. I just knew I needed to do something, and I think we resonated with each other as well. Some of our one-to-one chats, as you said, at the start of this went on a bit of a rabbit hole, but it was all part of a bigger picture. So very, very useful. Yeah,
Yeah, and I agree. There's got to be that human connection, hasn't there? And that's what the
absolutely,
process is
absolutely.
about in terms of,
Yeah,
if someone did want to do some work, we have to have a chat. We have to go through that because
absolutely.
if there is that clash, it's not going to work, is it? Because
Mm,
obviously, like you mentioned, there's the group sessions where there's me, you, and some of the other guys, but then there is the
yeah,
one-to-one element as well, isn't there?
mm, yeah, absolutely,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Well, look, like I say, I appreciate the kind words, appreciate you taking your time out to record this. Because genuinely it does mean a lot to me to hear how guys feel on the other side of it. It's sort of it's that cherry on the cake as such. Like, yes, this
Yeah,
is business, but I want to know I'm doing a good service. I want to hear those words, and yeah, it's really reinforcing. So thank you for that. And from me, absolute pleasure working with you. I know at the start it was quite dark, it was quite down at times, but we
mm,
worked through it. You always showed up, you were honest with me, and things were going crap. You told me they're going crap,
yeah,
and we did end up down some rabbit holes, but
mm,
kept
mm,
showing up, and that's the main thing. You didn't just give in, you didn't throw in the towel, which a lot of people would. So that's a testament to you. So yeah,
yeah,
thank you for that.
yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say, or happy that we've covered everything? Anything you want to sort of close with?
Not really. I think I've covered everything in our kind of chat. Again, thank you. I was in a real slump, and I just feel more positive all the time. I'm doing a lot more things, more energy at work as well. Ironically, part of this is to get the work-life balance, but I've actually got more energy at work, which means I'm getting through things faster. I'm a better person to be around, so it's impacted my business as well.
Awesome. Well, look,
Yeah,
thank you very
thank you.
much, and we'll speak soon.
Okay,
In a bit, buddy. Bye.
bye.